It's life as usual for incels. In fact, they're probably getting all these food deals. Like,
all right, how about that? Anything off of that? How about RLE? You got anything on there, RLE?
I've got it up over here. I don't hear anything.
Fuck. Well, shit.
It's probably...
I don't know what's going on then. Because we got...
It's life as usual for incels.
There
it goes.
All right, we're good to go.
There it goes.
Is that up on Facebook?
No, that was up on YouTube. We're good to go now. We're good. Good. How about RLE?
Okay, there it is. Yep.
We're gonna say Leland. I'm sorry. We're gonna say.
That's a soundbite right there. What's up, CM Mike? CM Mike joining us on the talk.
All right, we're good to go.
All right, we got audio back up on. Now I got to do that rant all over again. Let me condense that rant. Stop listening to the press. Do your own research and stop being afraid. You're not going to die. If you do get the coronavirus, stay away from other people. Take your damn hot and toddy, maybe a little bit of chicken noodle soup or whatever, and don't start on me about, well, you don't care about old people and all that other bullshit, because you can't tell me that I don't care about those folks when you don't care about the people who have died from the flu, and that outnumbers the coronavirus by about 4 to 1 so far.
The boomer's not going to get
called.
Yeah, but we have.
That's expected.
The boomer's not going to get.
Oh, so when the deaths are expected,
this is blind. Yeah, that's exactly
expected
what it is.
deaths.
So it's okay then.
I'm not saying it's okay.
So 86 people out of 320 million people die, and we got to lose our shit and buy up all the toilet paper. But 20,000 people die from the flu,
I will explain
to
you.
Don't.
I'm going to explain to you why. For quarantine and chill. Okay. Number one.
Yeah, 9 months. You know what? The only thing that's going to be overwhelmed in 9 months is the freaking hospitals full of pregnant women having babies.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
The divorce rate's going to go up.
And in 18 years, we're going to have to put up with these little shits, and it's going to be generation quarantine.
Yeah, and it's here's my thing, okay? And I put it on my Tinder as of today. It says, come over for quarantine and chill. I got a spare gas mask and I eat ass. Oh, and you think I'm joking?
He's not. I'm more concerned.
Pass that back and forth,
I'm more concerned about that, what you just said, and also the collapsed economy, where people aren't spending any money on food or entertainment or travel or gas. And the fact that every sports league is shut down. And
what is wrong with you?
And the fact, like you said on the non-existent audio,
let me see
that the banks are still.
Let me see it.
The banks are still calling all the debts too.
All right, so we got.
Man.
We got Mike's Tinder. we got Mike's Tinder profile.
Dude, you got to get a picture of
it's
Chernobyl.
In your underwear with the gas mask, just like posing.
So this is a Tinder profile. Let's see if we can
back it out just a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is that it?
A little bit forward.
Right there. That's a Tinder profile right there.
It's still blurry.
It's still blurry. Okay.
Dang old boomers.
Let me read it. Lives in Hutto, straight man.
Questionable.
Since we're all gonna die, anybody down for some quarantine and chill? I got spare gas mask and I'll eat that ass. Have you gotten a date from that?
No, that was updated as of like an hour or so ago.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna update us if we have.
Well, maybe there is something of this world ending, because I actually went on a date last week.
When we start getting new house guests. There's gonna be a lot. I'm calling this the Davis stimulus package.
Are you gonna? Oh my god!
The Davis stimulus package. Yeah. I love it.
I'm going to be buying so much Plan B. I will single-handedly float the pharmaceutical companies. Prophylactics be damned.
Oh my god.
I was going to say, it's like...
I got something in my throat. I don't have the corona.
Do you make enough swimmers or are you going to run out?
With the amount of caffeine in the yellow 5 that this guy drinks, he is very limited on the swimming pool.
Yeah, he's probably not even...
Not to mention his ambient heat is like closer to like 99 degrees.
He's probably not even solvent. He doesn't have any swimmers. If they do, they won't make it because they don't all swim in the same direction.
Yeah, to eggs.
Where are we going? I don't know. Let's go up here.
Well, it's funny because they're going to realize their mission ended before it even started because they'll be in a butt.
Oh my God, tonsils!
I went from the sausage and I thought I was going to the eggs, but I was going to the bacon.
All right.
All right, slow
We
this
just got
down.
the audio up, all right?
All right,
Jeez.
now we're gonna get gross. Yeah.
Jeez.
Holy cow.
You guys brought it upon yourselves.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, that driver's life, 1989. Just trying to figure out the next generation. Well, 9 months from now, Generation Quarantine will be born.
Generation Q.
Generation Q. That's right.
Well, here's something to think about. This November, if the election isn't postponed,
It won't be.
It
will not be postponed.
Generation 9/11. Those kids just turned 18.
They've been 18 for 2 years now.
Yeah, that's happened.
Or for a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah.
2002 is when they were born.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, all I'm thinking of.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All I'm thinking about is just still making fun of you and calling you a boomer still.
I'm not a boomer.
Not with that attitude.
I mean, technically.
Wait, M14
Technically,
or
I'm not.
Okay, hold on.
1966 is Gen
Watch this.
X.
9mm or 45?
45.
Okay, M14 or M16?
M14.
Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch.
What?
Got him.
Oh, Korea? I get it. All right, yeah.
Got him.
Yeah. All right.
Now he accepts it.
Okay, well, whatever.
Okay.
Shirt tucked in or tucked out?
Tucked in.
Nah, see blue jean shorts or khaki
Yeah,
shorts?
yeah. No.
Blue jean
What
shorts,
do you
baby.
mow the lawn with? White Nikes.
White Nikes.
Nike Monarchs.
Nike Monarchs.
And Exhibit A.
Son of a bitch.
Grab him, show him.
Muscle car or land yacht?
Yeah, baby.
I'm not a boomer. You're a boomer.
I wear the Nikes. What are we talking about here? The Air Monarchs. They're great. They're great sneakers, man. They're awesome.
Back in my day, we just walked up and got the
You see, this is what happened when you cancel all the sports leagues. We don't have anything to talk about.
Oh, we got.
Oh, we got plenty to talk
Davis and I
about.
have plenty to talk about now.
We have
We got
more to
plenty.
talk about.
End of
I'm
the
like,
world, we got this.
I don't give a shit about no sports.
We're millennials. We've been voting for meteorite, epidemic. What else have we been voting for?
Hey,
Financial collapse.
Yeah. And all this.
We've been voting for all of that for
Our
like the
fi-
last
our-
like 12 years.
Yeah.
Our producer chimed in. It says, "Goddamn interns changing all their shit." Was that you?
That was me.
That was you. Oh.
I don't know if anybody changed anything. I'm just gonna blame it on like
You got to.
fake interns.
We got to get interns in here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we get big enough. We'll have some interns working the cameras and stuff. We'll blame them for everything.
yeah.
Yes.
And they'll have to bring in the mystery drink.
Yeah. Which we'll bring out later.
Which we'll bring out
you
in a
go get
little
it?
while. Yeah, he went and
I
got
did.
it.
Nice.
And it's actually probably, hopefully, I don't know, maybe going to taste good.
You know,
We'll
at this point, I don't care. I mean, the day I've had, I've been looking forward to this all day because it's just,
You said this was your therapy for what, 7 years?
yeah, pretty much my therapy. It's just,
The fact that
Damn.
Fox Sports, they're too scared to go into the studio and do studio shows.
cares about sports. Unacceptable.
The XFL was awesome.
flag.
Flag
No
and
one
flag.
cares about sports until football season.
Yeah.
And that was prematurely ended.
Things I could care.
Yeah, that was the XFL.
Things I could care.
Although
less
the
about.
XFL was doing pretty good before it got canned.
Things I can care less about more than the XFL. The price of peas in Pakistan. Right? That's one.
That's one.
Number two.
Number two. What's number two?
The price of carrots in Karachi.
Don't
which
care
is in
about it.
Pakistan.
Don't
Number
care about the
three.
price of carrots.
The price of legumes in Lima, Peru.
Leg-
Also care less about than the XFL. I can keep going. You
And
want to
you-
know more?
Slap 'em with that
Please
fourth one.
slap us more.
Do
with this.
not care at all about the prices of cantaloupes and Cozumel. Don't care. Don't give a shit. Those
How about
melon-
the price of pineapples in Pittsburgh?
Don't give a shit.
Don't give a shit.
Extra don't
Pineapples
give a shit.
don't grow in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Nah.
You'd know that if you stopped watching sports.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know who thinks people?
Get off the Sports Center. You're
Yeah.
not gonna learn nothing from those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Next, people are thinking New York strip's gonna be grown in New York. Unfortunately, it's not. I don't see no cows in New York City. Do you? That's fake news.
Rats.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York.
And where do
Strip
all
is
the
just
bulls come from on Wall Street?
Is the
Bad
post
joke.
financial collapse? The New York Strip is just a cut up rat, grilled,
Pretty much.
filleted, and grilled.
Of course, some of those rats are as big as raccoons, man.
Yeah,
That's true. Those
they're as,
things
big,
are-
they're as big as radar.
Huge.
It's New York City rats, man.
Good for them, though. You know, that's something.
Barbara Streisand has to feed off of something.
Hey, back off of Barbara Streisand.
Papa, can you hear me?
You could have waited till we've had the mystery drink when you said that.
My goodness. So anyway, for those of you on TikTok, if you'd like to join the show and see everybody, theradiomancave.com. Come join us. We got the audio back up. Hopefully RLE stuck around. Probably didn't.
Sorry
but-
about that.
Well, he might have.
Well, I didn't know how to interrupt you guys. I was kind of like, oh shit, they're on a good run right now, but I don't. I should just. Sorry, that's my fault.
No,
I was like, I
you did,
knew
no,
for
you
a
did
solid,
right.
like,
You did right
couple
because
minutes.
we're still on another platform. So
Boom. There we go.
you know,
Learning shit.
still on Mixler.
All right. I'm not gonna mess with anything more.
You got it. You got to take care of.
We are good. Are you saying that the?
So let's talk about the good comebacks that we've had with all the liberals that are cheering on the demise of the administration because of an ideology, not caring about facts or logic. One of my favorite comebacks is, bet you wish you had your guns now.
Yeah, dude. The ammo counters are stripped clean.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's funny
That was kind of
that,
ominous. I was like, oh shit. Okay.
it's funny that, all the left wing went for the toilet paper first. Kind of telling.
Yeah.
No, I mean you say that, but I saw
I
the
say
people
that-
buying the toilet paper, and it was like,
They had to clean the fans first.
It also looks like the people that own guns bought all the toilet paper.
Go grab that
Yeah.
roll out of the thing. I'm going to show you guys how to conserve toilet paper. This is something I learned in the military, so I'm going to pass it along
Pro
to
tip,
you all.
just don't use it.
This is something that,
no, yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to make this roll last.
You just get a
Right.
garden hose.
So, I mean, once you run out, then you do the waffle stomp. And you all know what the waffle stomp is, right?
That's so. No. You can still use your toilet. You can still shit in the toilet.
Yeah. Well,
You don't have to stomp shit down the drain. You don't have to shit
that's
in the
not fun,
bathtub.
though.
That's no, that
Okay,
is too.
you do this. You do this with one ply. Okay, right here. All right. So what you do is you take this and you fold it corner to corner like this. You watching? Fold it corner to corner like this,
This is so stupid.
and then you fold it corner to corner like this. So you have a triangle, like a little football. All right. Then
Oh
you
my
take-
God, it's sports.
Then you take. Then you take this little corner right here, right? You take this corner, get something like that. You fold it twice, get that little corner right here, and you just rip this corner off just like this. All right?
Unlike a football.
All right? Now you take this.
Is this a magic trick?
No, you take this, and you stick it on your finger, and you get up there and you dig around, and you get it all cleaned out, and then you take it. When you pull it out, you just pull it down your finger like that.
You squeegee
And
it.
you throw this away, and then you use the little piece right here to clean under the nails, make sure all the dookie gets out of the nails, and there you go. Nice and clean.
Or,
What the hell, man?
okay. Have you ever thought about just using a garden hose?
Or a garden hose.
Yeah. Outdoor bidet.
Look, I was about to say you can buy a bidet at Home Depot for like $30. The water, the utilities for the next at least like
Yeah,
few
they're not
months.
going anywhere. That's why I freaked out.
They're
Everybody
fine.
bought up all the water. It's like, You know they're not going to turn the
You know, this
water
isn't
off, right?
an actual disaster where the water is going to get affected, right? Like this isn't.
They bought up all the fresh
What's up,
meat,
Caden
all the hamburger buns and all that stuff. It's like, dude, the supply chains from McDonald's and Taco Bell aren't going to be shut down. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. It's
Media
literally
frenzy. That's what media frenzies do.
I mean, I was just like, you know, this might actually kind of like, this might wreck the economy for the next couple months. I'm going to go stock up on rice and beans and hamburger helper and all this.
Ramen. Nobody bought any ramen.
The ramen at my HEB was like wrecked, but I live in.
Was it?
South Austin. Yeah, I live in South Austin, so like.
Yeah, younger kids still remember college.
Yeah.
Up here, it was full.
Really?
Because of one group of people. Boomers.
They're like, I don't want to eat no that top ramen. That's where all the coronavirus
That's how them Chineses.
I will tell you something that I ran into last week, though, and I want to address it. I was going to talk about it.
Were they Chineses?
No.
Yeah, they were, actually.
Oh.
So, as you guys know,
quickly.
I'm a rideshare driver. I drive for Uber, Lyft, and here in Austin, Ride Austin.
Yeah.
And Ride Austin
That's
actually was kind of busy
Yeah.
last week. I made $130 off of Ride Austin. Unfortunately, that got thrown into the account that the bank hit, so buy money. Anyway, I went and picked up this young gal, and she was Japanese, and she said, "Oh, thank you." She got in. She had her stuff. She was a student at UT, going up north to her apartment, and she was. It was when it was when it was kind of cold and rainy, so she was flustered and gets in the car. She goes, "Thank you for picking me up." She had to change her name and take her profile picture off her account so drivers would go pick her up.
Are you serious?
That's super fucked up.
Wow.
And I took a guy from Round Rock, the stores, the outlets,
Yeah.
back down to his hotel. He worked for Applied Materials, and he was one of the guys from China from Applied Materials. And he said I was the third Uber driver that he called, and the only one that stopped. The other ones pulled up, looked at him, and kept going and canceled the ride. And I just want to let everybody know that's watching right now on TikTok and that's watching this show or might be watching it on replay or listening on Mixler, you can't catch coronavirus from Asians just because they're Asian.
It's not how that works.
It's not how that works. Mm-hmm. You can still go to a China buffet and eat some good Chinese food, so you'd be hungry 10 minutes after you eat there. Still do that. You can still go to Panda Express. You can still use chopsticks. You're not going to get the coronavirus by exposing yourself to someone who's Asian. Stop being a racist piece of shit.
Also,
That is all.
Asians, if you want to quarantine with me, you're more than welcome. Definitely accepting.
Mike is accepting applications on Tinder.
Yes, I'm equal opportunity get infected. Don't care.
What? I know.
I mean, you just said I can't catch it from Asians by.
You can't.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch something else, and
You're
you're
gonna-
gonna be able to go to the
yeah, you're gonna
hospital.
catch some
That's what I
other
was
bug.
talking about. Yeah.
and your
You're
shit's
gonna
just gonna
catch
fall
something else.
off
No.
because
You're gonna start getting ingrown hairs.
Hell yeah. Whatever. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, you guys just can't be hating on my game. Okay, I'm just trying to because I'm sorry. I feel for my Asian friends out there that are being discriminated against, and I will go out of my way to protect them while I'm not wearing pants. I think that's totally okay. Anybody who feels unsafe during coronavirus, I will help you out.
By giving
In the
Burpees?
no, whoa, that's not
he
me.
doesn't have her.
Yeah, nah.
That's
made
not what
sure.
we were saying.
Yeah.
He's gonna get something.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
he's not gonna get the ingrown hairs.
yeah, or other weird things.
Nah, I just haven't showered in like 4 weeks. That's what that's from.
Totally, dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Gross.
I think
We
it's
got a
totally
call.
fun.
Oh my god, a call. Hello, caller.
So West Coast.
Hello.
Hey. Hello. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Gotcha. This is your old friend Ryan from Rifles and Reason.
Hey, Ryan Lee from Rifles and Reason. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. Just got home, and I am in lockdown mode. So, for some context, my county in California is one of the 6 counties that went in more or less complete lockdown mode. Basically, they restricted all travel, unnecessary travel, so to speak, all big public gatherings. All restaurants are takeout basis only. So, yeah, can't dine in.
So explain how this lockdown is going on now. So if you walk out your door right now, you're going to get shot?
Nah. I think I might be overblowing it.
Nah,
by the way.
not me.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, not you personally, but if people walk out the door, what do they get detained? They get arrested? What?
Not quite sure yet. I don't think it'll get to that point, but you never know. I mean, I know New York City at this point, they're moving quickly towards more or less martial law. And I don't know if you've seen pictures of New York City on social media recently, but the streets are dead.
Well, that's because, people are herd animal, and they were told that they have to stay indoors. And
I will give them a place to stay.
And there's still people out on the street, though, because CNN, I was watching CNN earlier today, and she was in the middle of Times Square, not being molested by any authorities to move or anything. And it was a tight shot on her. And in the background, you could see some people. And then when she moved to show something, a bunch of people looked like they had gotten tired of waiting. And they just kind of walked across the back of her camera, like they were told them to stop and wait until they had the shot. And then the camera moved again real quick. And then the guy, the CNN anchor in the room said, "Hey, what are all those people doing out there?" And she had to really cover for herself. And that's why I'm saying it's all a show, folks. It's all a show. I'm going to go ahead and tip the handle. In 2 weeks, we may, if I can connect with him, we almost had him on the show tonight. We're going to have Roger Stone on the show. We're working on it. I hope it happens, because I'm going to be asking him a lot about this stuff. But if you watch Get Me Roger Stone on Netflix to find out kind of behind the scenes of all that stuff or what he does, he says it. Politics is show business.
Yeah.
It's show business. It's
Yeah.
all show business.
Yeah.
And it's all to direct us and how we think. And that's why I believe that even though we have a device in our hands that gives us access to all the known information that we have in our universe, we are, at this point, the most uninformed generation ever. And that's everybody. Every age from 0 to 90.
Well, that's one part of the population is uninformed.
Yeah. Except for us. We're informed.
Their kids moved out and they can't show them how to use technology anymore. So like,
Yeah, that's true.
whatever.
I'm just kidding. I couldn't get this audio working on here for like 5 minutes.
So, Ryan, what else is going
Here's
on,
the
man?
thing, like,
When you moving
I was
out?
about to say, like, what's up?
Go ahead.
I was about to say, like, the whole, like, this is supposed to be the most technologically knowledgeable generation of our time. But the thing is, a lot of us, out of our psychological barriers that we're too lazy to overcome, is just like, oh, we can post, like, all the news articles we want online to show how informed we are. But I don't think people who see those posts they don't usually open those articles and look at the details.
Yeah.
And case in point, a friend of mine does that a lot. I guess it's to signal how, look at me, look at how informed I am. I'm posting all these articles on my feed every day. He's younger than me, by the way. I'm not even that old. I'm still in my 20s, so. But like, and then I saw another social media post of him asking, "Oh, I'm worried the banks aren't going to be open, blah blah blah." Even though in one of the articles he posted about the more or less lockdown we got going on, it said the banks explicitly will still be open.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. For those of you on TikTok right now, I'm talking with Ryan Lee of Rifles and Reason, a guest who was on a couple years ago, actually. So if you want to see the whole show, theradiomancave.com, hit watch live or listen live, and you can listen to what everybody's saying, not just be looking at me. But Ryan, one of the, I said it before, I don't know if you heard, I don't know how long you've been listening, but one of my favorite comebacks now to all the fearmongers who are pushing the Trump wants to remain in office and he's going to have everybody locked down and he's going to be a fascist dictator. My comeback is, bet you wish you had your guns now, huh?
Straight up. Actually, I think this, I got this out of a gun group of mine. Not sure if they want to be, advertised via platform yet, but this specifically caters to the Asian American community, which has been taking a lot of undue heat from this whole situation.
Big time. Yeah, did you hear my story about the rideshare, about people having to change their names just so?
Yeah, I heard that bit, and I haven't used rideshare in a while, but I do remember using it a lot on vacation. I'm just like, damn, I'm glad I'm not on vacation right now because, yeah, I'd be shorted out a lot and unfairly on my part. But anyway, what the gun group basically, the direction they're moving into now, especially with discrimination and more hate crime assaults happening against Asian Americans due to the whole situation, trying to get more Asian Americans to into legal gun ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, arm up, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Arm up. And so are you seeing a lot of that? Now, Ryan, you're help me out. It's been a while since we've talked. Vietnamese, right?
Vietnamese and Chinese, yeah.
Vietnamese and Chinese. Are you seeing a lot of that? Like, are people giving you a wide berth or not serving you or?
Personally, I'm privileged enough to live in an area where I'm surrounded by mostly people that do look like me. I personally haven't, fortunately, haven't gotten any unfair treatment based on my appearance and my cultural background. However, I've seen a lot of things going online in the places where I frequent and have some local community ties to. For example, New York City, there have been at least 2 reported cases of physical assault against Asian Americans based on using coronavirus as an excuse. The same thing happened recently in San Francisco too. And this was with an old man minding his business, collecting cans. So
that's nuts, man. That is nuts. So everybody's been advised to stay indoors. People are obviously doing that. But nobody's forcibly detained in their home by arms. Like the implication is on the news.
Well,
yes. So these are all basically strict recommendations from our local government.
Yeah. Which is the extent of what they can do is they can suggest.
Yeah, they can't say they require people to stay home unless it's essential to go out, but it boils down to how can they really enforce that and what are they what kind of legal implications are there? It really boils down to just a strict recommendation. And I mean, the same way I guess a healthcare provider would strictly recommend a patient to go on a diet, let's say. But what if the patient doesn't go on the diet? Is the doctor or provider gonna, I don't know, revoke their
physically force them to do
whatever?
it?
Yeah. So there's no observations of, like, say, the freeways being locked down or neighborhoods being barricaded
Or
off.
roadblocks or nothing like that?
Not yet. And I say not yet because there's all sorts of talk going on about sending in the National Guard based on what Governor Cuomo has been doing in New York. But
the National Guard in New York's not being sent in for law enforcement or for crowd control. It's being sent in to set up infrastructure for hospitals. It's actually an engineer unit. It's not an infantry unit.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, all the fearmongers are like, oh, they're sending the National Guard. It's martial law. No, well, the National Guard is an important part of our critical response team. I mean, the National Guard was activated during the hurricanes in Houston, for example, in Texas. The National Guard was the Texas National Guard, Louisiana National Guard, Alabama National Guard, and Oklahoma National Guard all worked together when Katrina hit New Orleans. I mean, it's And most of the National Guard units, there are very few National Guard units that are actual combat arms units. Most of those, there are, but most of them are engineer battalions, medical battalions, civil engineer, motor transportation, stuff like that. Because once guys get out of the Army, they usually do things that they want to do in civilian life, and they just carry it over and do, in the National Guard. So
vehicle support,
mechanics. Exactly. So the National Guard being activated is not a sign that we're all going to be, armed troops going up and down the streets shooting people who are out in their front yard because they're not following some martial law BS.
Did you ever see that movie, The Crazies? Remember that movie that came out in the 70s?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
No, but however, and Fox News reported this, and I chose Fox for whatever reason. There's multiple articles, but there is a man in Kentucky who's being forcibly in quarantine, isolated, because he refused to self-quarantine beforehand. So there's armed Kentucky deputies that have to enforce his isolation.
They have to enforce
Well, he was confirmed to be he was confirmed to actually be infected.
Yeah.
So that's a bit different than.
But what the CDC is saying, out one side of their mouth is they're parroting the frenzy, but on the other side, if you know what to listen to, they're saying that most people, they probably have hundreds of thousands of people that have been affected, but they either don't show any outward signs of infection, or they're so slight and they get over it so quickly that they haven't gone through the cycle. This isn't a death sentence. And before you say, yeah, but people are dying, the same people that are dying from this are the same people that die from the flu. If you are reasonably healthy, don't have any underlying medical conditions, and you live in Texas and go through cedar fever every goddamn year, you're going to be okay. Mm-hmm. You're going to be all right. Your body's pretty tough. It's going to fight this off. It's not a death sentence. This isn't like, what's the movie?
World War Z?
No.
Pandemic.
A pandemic.
With,
there's the other one. There was the other one, though, with... God dang it.
There's a
two
couple of them that were trending on Netflix, and I was like, come on, guys.
No,
don't freak yourselves out.
Yeah.
I did watch Pandemic.
The real damage is the destruction of the economy, because nobody is leaving their house and spending their money on the service industry, the entertainment industry, hospitality, and travel, or going to sporting events.
Well, yeah, because they said that, there is one thing that affected China heavily, was that, the hospitals were...
we're overwhelmed.
There's variables that with China. China, 90% of the population smokes. I don't know if that's an act, but there's a high.
Yeah, that's what's happening with Europe with socialized medicine. Is that the hospitals being overwhelmed and they're just saying, okay, if you're over 80, we're not even going to treat you. You're just going to let you die.
I was just making.
Well, that was reported. That is reported, but I looked into
socialized medicine.
I looked into that, and that was found to be not true.
What's that?
There's no death lists over in Italy. They're taking care, and even the thing in Italy is being blown way out of proportion. They say the whole country's on lockdown. The whole country is not on lockdown. The major Rome, the major cities, just like our major cities like New York, high density population, they're on lockdown. The smaller cities, the outlying cities, Sicily, the islands, out in the rural areas, like you said, we don't have an accurate count, because most of the people that live out in the country and live off the land and are farmers, they got some hellish freaking immune systems, because they're out there in the outdoors. So, and a lot of people might have gotten it and gotten over it and not even known about it. So I think you never want to say you overblow anything, but there's a way they could have handled it, is to not incite fear and panic.
They do have a legitimate
still informed.
quarantine, though. Just let you know.
Yeah, just like
Before
they
you
do
say
with
that they don't.
Just like they do with the flu, just like they do with H1N1, just like they do with swine flu, just like they do with everything else. Is this your first pandemic? This is your first one,
No, it's
right?
not my first pandemic. No, it's actually not. But
you weren't old enough to even care, because it wasn't blasted all over the news like this.
And
it was deadlier than this one.
I'm looking at it right now.
And they didn't shut the economy down.
And it didn't shut the
lockdown
economy
in Rome.
down. And there wasn't any lockdowns, but they did have quarantines, and they weren't.
Lockdown has begun in Italy. On March 9th, 2020, the government of Italy, under Prime Minister their prime minister, imposed a national quarantine restricting the movement of the population except for necessity, work, and health circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not going to bars and clubs and all that good shit.
Well, no, in the cities.
Yeah.
You think the Italian military has enough people to be out in rural Italy?
No, I'm just saying. I don't think. I mean,
And what
I
you
get
gonna
what
do?
you're saying.
You're gonna
I
round
know-
them up
I
and stick
know-
them in
I
a
know
prison,
what
which
I
then
hear you.
You think Don Carlos is down there? It's like,
being, there's fear that's being perpetuated is being, blown out of proportion for like clicks and stories, and everybody wants to have the first, and stuff like that. But at the same time, you can't. I mean, that's a fact.
and that's
Because
not
there's
a
national
that's not a
quarantine.
manifestation of fear and
mean, it was-
overreaction
The government.
of
I
Italy.
mean, no. You just said that they didn't do it, though. That's not what I was. That's not
No,
what
no,
was
I
saying.
didn't say they didn't do it. I didn't say that. I said it's not the whole entire country. You can say it's the whole entire country, but that's not what's coming out of Italy.
Okay.
That might be the news that's being reported. What's the source?
So I have to reopen it up. I mean, it was straight across.
and what they got to do? Stick them, arrest people and stick them in close confinement in a jail, in a
was,
closed environment, which will then.
The BBC.
The
is one that
BBC?
I opened up.
I mean, they're already over it in China.
Yeah, I know Wuhan. I mean, they closed down the last temporary hospital.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody's
and
back to work and they're playing
there's
soccer and they're
there's
laughing
a
at us.
Crew that
They reopened all the
but,
stores.
I mean, they had a legitimate thing going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember when the videos were first coming out? They had doctors being overworked and hospitals were being overrun, and they had to build like 6 hospitals in 2 weeks. They really had to take this thing on in stride and purpose. Whereas, we're a much larger. They were under quarantine and everything like that.
The fact
too.
that Apple made an emphasis when they shut all their stores in the world that they are saying, oh no, we reopened the ones in China, which means that it's done in China.
So right now, the live numbers on Corona, you go to worldmeters.info/coronavirus/. Right now, worldwide, 182,598 people total, 7,171 deaths, and 79,881 have recovered completely.
Put that in perspective. There's 7.7.5.
7,000 have
1/3
died. Almost 8,000 have died.
One
and
third-
almost 80,000 have recovered.
1/3 of the population of Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
worldwide,
Right.
The worldwide
been
population
affected.
is
Yeah.
7.58 billion.
1/5 of the population of Hutto, Texas,
Yeah.
has died. That's what we're freaking out about. That's why we have no toilet paper. That's why the entire country's
I mean,
shutting
I
down.
understand
And that's why
what
our
you're saying
entire
about
economy's
that.
crashing because of fear mongering and the reporting on the news to make it to push an ideology.
Yeah.
These are the things
I'm not
you
coming
watch the
from a place
news.
that I'm blaming Trump or anything like that.
I'm not.
either.
I don't care about Trump. I care about an ideology because people change. The ideologies stay the same. You watch the news for 30 minutes. This is what you're going to hear:
Yeah,
Trump,
I know, what's the news?
socialized medicine,
Yeah.
and guns.
Why are
And
they
martial
bringing up
law.
guns?
Martial law. They're going to take our guns. Those 3 things. 30 minutes. Every news channel. Everything goes back to those 3 things. Trump is bad.
Well, that's incredibly.
We need socialized medicine because now people
reckless.
can't pay their stuff,
Yeah.
and we're going to go be under martial law. Fear, fear, and fear.
To put that in.
For point zero 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 zero.
I mean, if you're going to throw a number out there, you might as well just get it right.
Not that many zeros.
Not that many zeros.
There's
Well,
six.
whatever.
There's
Well,
6
let's
zeros.
look.
There's
Like,
there's
let's
point.
look.
I'm just saying,
Figure
this
that
is a
out.
legitimate
Six-
thing.
no, actually, I did.
You're blaming them for blowing things out of proportion and kind of like having like false
The
statistics
total
like that.
deaths is 0.00000000095.
Yeah. So
It's that.
148,000 people out of 7.8
Can you read that?
billion people.
Yeah.
I mean, if we view it by country, China, who has 2 billion people, the total cases reported don't even fill the Texas stadium.
You're right. Yeah.
Total deaths, 3,226 in China. And that's shutting down an entire economy?
Well, I mean, it's an addition. It's not like that's like the exclusively what people are dying of. I mean, yeah, you have people dying of just regular old. I mean, like one person dies in the world. Last time I remember, and it's been years. I might be wrong, but one person dies every 7 seconds, and one person's born every 7 seconds.
Yeah.
But you're saying like, oh, people are losing minds about 3,000 deaths in a span of since
6 months.
December, or 6 months in Wuhan alone. And then I imagine a lot of those were probably in the last like couple months, in addition to the flu that you're so fond of bringing up, old age, car accidents. It's just additional. It's an additional death. Like not burden, but it's an additional statistic that just came out of nowhere, and people are going to want our governments. Unfortunately, I mean, there's private sectors that are doing an excellent job. I mean, HEB is knocking it out of the park, but
They have.
they're wanting the governments to come up with an answer and a solution so that next year, if this ever came out again, we have a vaccine for it, that we've gone through the effort to do it. And that's, I can understand that, not so much the panic,
but do you believe
the stress
the panic,
and anxiety that's coming from it? No, I don't think. I watch
do you believe
people
the
with
press? Do you believe the press has a big hand in that?
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. But I mean, both sides have played it. It's not just like the left
Of
wing.
course,
Yeah.
I'm not. But right now, the left is the one that's driving the force. The left is the one that's driving the narrative.
I mean,
Because when the left was in charge and
Yeah.
the bird flu came up and killed 6 times as many people as this had, and it was
Right.
even a worse pandemic,
Yeah.
nothing was said and our economy didn't tank.
I mean, our economy was already kind of like.
Well,
There wasn't orders to
I
sports
I didn't
leagues
stop
to
driving
shut.
Uber.
Yeah. You weren't driving Uber
That's
in
true.
H101.
I was a
You were
cop.
There weren't
So
orders.
you didn't see the effects of it because I don't know.
There weren't orders to shut down sports leagues and not have concerts.
Yeah, I mean, again, like.
It's blown way out of proportion. The point I'm trying to make is I'm not trying to say this is bad. And don't tell me I don't care about people dying. I don't want anybody to die. But I also don't think that in order to care about people dying, the rest of the world has to tank.
Yeah. What's causing more damage? This
Because
virus?
I think more people will commit suicide because they see no way out of their financial situation because of the panic being caused by the press
Exactly
over
right.
this, which doesn't even fill the stadium at UT worldwide.
I mean,
that will
don't-
die
yeah.
from the virus.
If you're in that
I
position,
bet you that'll come out.
Yeah.
We already lose 22 vets a day on average. Add to that all the people who can't, there's people on TikTok that are crying saying they can't work and they're putting their Venmo up for people to donate money just so they can pay their bills. You saw what happened to me with the bank today.
Yeah, that's pretty.
The bank
shitty.
said, I'm just going to take all your money and you can pay us back. Basically gave me a loan that I didn't want. And I'm trying to go to Mexico in a week and I'm kind of frosty about that.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know?
again, it's
Now if I
it's an unexpected.
and I ain't gonna
You
lie
can't
to
just
you.
not do anything.
But
about
a lot of people have set
They
their.
need time to figure it out.
And I ain't gonna lie to you. Today at my lowest point, I can understand why people kill themselves and why if I wasn't who I am, I probably should be dead by now from suicide from what I've been through in my life.
You don't have to do that on.
But I'm telling you,
Yeah.
there are people that are gonna kill themselves over this.
You're right.
Because of the media. Now, who's holding the media responsible? I mean, the filter ultimately is ours. We have to be the filter. We have to be the one that says, wait, I got to take a breath. I'm going to take this information. I'm going to investigate it. We'll spend hours on this app. All of you watching on TikTok, how many hours do you spend on TikTok a day? If you just took 30 minutes and looked into what's being claimed on the press and went to other sources, the BBC, Al Jazeera is a great source. C-SPAN, instead of watching MSNBC and all the propagandists, go to C-SPAN and just let them talk.
Yeah. Don't forget Fox.
But if you really want to kind of get a peek behind the
One
curtain,
American News.
Our guest, hopefully in 2 weeks, we're going to work on it, but I'm not going to have him on the show unless I talk to him first. Roger Stone, watch Get Me Roger Stone on Netflix, and you will see how this is all a big act.
Smoke and mirrors.
It's an act to direct our thinking. It's an act to direct our actions. It's an act to direct how we think, how we treat each other. And if we just back up for a minute and realize that we're sovereign citizens And those are the numbers. So, look, October 1st, 2019 to February 1st, 2020, 12,000 people, and it may even go as high as 30,000 people died from the flu. But we have a vaccine. That's okay. We didn't shut down. We didn't shut down hockey. We didn't shut down football. You know.
We didn't have a vaccine for chickenpox for decades, and we didn't shut down everything every winter.
But now here's the coronavirus.
I've never heard of anybody dying of chickenpox.
If you're an adult and you didn't have it as a child, it causes a lot of health problems.
Yeah, it causes.
That's why
Yeah.
you
It's
have
shingles,
to get
yeah.
it as a kid.
That's why we get them kids together.
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide, 182,598 cases, and we're losing our shit. And I'm negative balance in the bank, and there's people that are losing their jobs because we just don't know how to think.
They didn't do this type of panic crap under polio before the vaccine.
Well, we didn't have the internet. That was like back in the 20s.
Yeah.
And they kind of did.
And they kind of did. There was
Because that was a bad deal. And back then, with the
Spanish.
technology that they had, you know.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm going to say it. Democrats president, we're not going through this. I'm saying it. And that's the
don't
problem
know.
with the two ideologies.
Honestly,
That's the problem with being
if we do-
under the control of two ideologies right there.
Yeah.
And how many cases how many deaths have we actually had in this country?
No, I don't know.
In the United
A lot
States,
less than the rest of the
hold
world.
It's on
Yeah.
70.
70.
Out of
91.
out of 400 million people.
91 total deaths.
91.
74 have recovered completely, and right now we have 4,500 active cases
Out of 400 million people, which is
out
not
of 330 million people.
330.
But, I mean, is it something that you guys feel like could have been preventable?
Yes.
Yes.
If the press hadn't used it as a political tool to try to make somebody look bad, push an agenda of socialized medicine, and put fear. Yes,
Because
absolutely.
We were not having a problem at all in this country with this. It was under control, and the fact that Trump was trying to downplay the fear mongering of this stuff. He says, just wash your hands. You common sense stuff to prevent this from happening. Instead they're saying, oh, he's not doing enough. Let's shut down the entire economy and have everyone social isolate. Yeah, the incels are laughing their asses off. And like, no,
and you know what?
I know how the rest of us feel.
And this is something. See, you can find little nuggets that if you're paying attention, you can pick up on them, and then you can start to investigate. If this is so deadly enough to shut down an entire economy, and you're telling me the only thing we have to do is wash our hands?
That's not. I mean, it's not. No. No. It's
Wash your
just,
hands and if you feel sick,
helps
stay home.
Yeah, it helps
Yeah.
prevent the spread of it, but it doesn't. That's not.
We're
that's
not
what
locking
saying at
people
all.
down. We're not walking around in orange suits. We're not, we're not getting shots. We're not rounding
Right.
people up in camps. We're not doing any of
Yeah.
that stuff. Wash your hands.
I mean,
Be healthy.
yeah, think about it.
And then you
keeps
read
getting
deeper.
worse.
You read
And,
deeper in the recovery cases. They said mild.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a
like you said
bad
at the
cold.
beginning of the show, there
It's
could
a
have
bad
been
cold.
Hundreds of thousands of people that could have already been exposed to it and had it and just gotten over it already. Which is fine. I mean, that could be. I mean, the CDC said it. I mean, whatever. It could be very.
Yeah, how many of us had it
The case.
in November, December, before this got blown out of proportion, and got through it and was fine? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, who knows that cough I had back in November? Who knows? That might have been it.
Well, yeah, I had a pretty bad respiratory. I think that was I'm allergic to Kelsey's rabbit's hay,
Oh.
Yeah.
and like jumped up in my face, and then I was smoking. I was using a Juul at the time, and I looked it up and I had read about it and what it does to you.
Oh, the
and
synthetic vitamin D, yeah.
No,
Or was it vitamin B?
no, it was just what it does is that it inflames your bronchial tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because I had a respiratory infection from the allergic reaction, and then I kept using that, I think it really fucked up.
And then everyone's running,
It
and
really
everyone,
messed me up.
and then getting back to everyone walking around with the surgical mask. That's not going to do anything about receiving. The only thing it would do is prevent the transmission possibly if you're coughing into the mask. But if you're coughing into the mask, then you should basically stay home because you're sick. But if you're healthy, walking around with those masks ain't going to do jack shit to preventing you from getting this disease, which is what we said, is probably just nothing more and symptomatic for 95% of the people, a common cold.
And you know what? You know what killed more people? That Spanish flu.
Yeah, I mean,
Back there in 1918.
Drunk drivers kill more people than this thing.
Yeah, Leland, you can't take a vaccine for fucking drunk driving, all right? Like, that's not, you can just take, and they spend billions of dollars nationwide on preventing drinking and driving.
Well, I guess we should permanently shut down all bars to prevent drinking and driving.
2009 and 2010
What's that?
was the last pandemic.
Oh, with the H1N1?
And the swine flu, yeah.
I got something in my throat. Don't freak out. 200,000 people died.
Yeah.
A lot more than that.
Didn't close down the economy.
I mean, how long did it take, though? I mean, it's not like it happened in a day.
2009 and 2010,
we're
over a year and a half.
3 months into it.
Didn't shut down the economy.
Yeah.
Didn't stop the NBA. Didn't
Yeah.
stop the hockey.
But
Didn't keep people
what's
from going to work.
What's
at that time,
the
too.
infection like? What's the like? I mean, there's obviously there's different variables. You can't just like compare it to drunk driving and like accidental what's called I don't know, like accidental deaths from jacking off or some shit. Like
Yeah.
you can't just
Auto rock asphyxiation.
Ebola,
This guy
2014 to 2016.
yeah.
11,000 people died
Yeah.
from Ebola.
Yeah, but
Didn't
I
shut
mean,
down the NBA.
Didn't shut
Didn't
down
close down
Dallas or
entire
New York,
countries.
which were the
Didn't
hotbeds.
send people
right,
home.
but what was the transmission like? Variables for that. That's what I'm asking. Is like
It's a pandemic.
it's not the
It's
same.
transferable.
though. You ever play Pandemic? You ever play the game? Not everyone. I mean, there's virals. There's bacterial. There's I know I'm comparing to a game and everything like that, but like there's different things. They're all different. So
But you know the biggest killer? The third plague. 1855, 12 million people.
yeah,
Didn't shut down the NHL.
in 1855.
Didn't stop the Civil War either.
Didn't stop Custer from riding out there and getting shot. Did it? Did it?
No. But that's what I'm saying. Is like, I mean, you can compare it to the death rates. we
Hong
get
Kong
into it,
flu,
like
1
that,
million, 1968 to 70. Didn't
Yeah.
shut down the NFL.
This-
Didn't tank the
but,
economy.
that was in Hong Kong.
Be-
and that was in
besides
America,
ta-
was it?
Besides,
It was 1970. You know why? Because we only had an hour of news back in 1970.
Yeah.
That's it. They didn't have a 24-hour news cycle to sell advertisement, and
Well,
the
what
news
was also
wasn't
the
tied.
economy
And the
based
news
off of at
wasn't
that time?
and gold, and the news wasn't tied into an ideology.
yeah, they had sitcoms. They had in fact, the
that's
networks
entirely
hated
true.
the news. They wanted more time for their sitcoms. What?
Well, the agreement was when TV first came out and started becoming a source of we need the mystery drink.
X amount
We're
of
about
time
ready
for-
to kill some Ebola virus right now with a mystery drink. When TV came out, of course they had the airwaves. What's up, Kenneth? Kenneth Tolbert, fellow actor on TikTok. Say hi, everybody.
Hey, Kenneth.
They agreed
Hey there.
that in order to broadcast 23 hours out of the day would be for back then it wasn't even 23 because it went off the air at midnight.
They had to have a certain amount for news
But
and
1 hour, 1 hour a day, commercial free, local and the national news. That was it. And I remember when I was a kid, I could not wait till the news was over because as soon as the news was over, we had emergency or emergency 51 as I like to call it. Then right after that we had Star Trek, and then I went to bed.
Didn't they also at the early part of the day they also had to dedicate an hour for educational programming?
Yeah, educational programming, absolutely. In the mornings, I was in the mornings. And what gets me is as soon as we went to the 24-hour news cycle, then it started becoming about advertising. And as soon as it became about advertising, then it became into latching a wagon to an ideology. And as soon as it became latching a wagon to an ideology, that's where we get the mess we're in now, where people don't make decisions on facts and logic. They make decisions based on an emotion attached to a feeling they get from being told something that excites them or drives them towards a goal. And this is a perfect example of propaganda and how it works. fear mongering. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm not saying people ain't gonna die. But look at the freaking numbers.
Yeah.
Don't
we're only
match
3
up.
months into it, and there's like
We don't match up with
1,000 people left.
with tanking an entire economy,
And then-
locking
and-
down
and-
an entire country.
And encouraging people to be socially distant. We have a hard enough time not interacting with people already now with staring at our
for
screen
yourself.
every 5 seconds.
Just, I
Yeah,
mean,
speak for yourself there, Chief.
you know,
I see
and you know,
thousands
and you
of
know
people
what,
interacting every weekend.
and you go, and you know, you go into the grocery store, and this is what gets me.
It's Mad Max.
You go into the grocery store, and you see the toilet paper gone, and you see all the other stuff gone, but you know what's all over the shelves? Vitamin C, emergency, Robitussin.
Stuff
When
that
I
actually
went
would
to-
help you.
At this one, they had all that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They also had a bunch of alcohol too.
You guys
oddly
had
enough.
Oh yeah, and all the alcohol was there. What the hell are you guys thinking? You're going to be in lockdown, man. Holy shit!
Yeah, they're buying frozen chicken McNuggets, but they're not buying any of the booze.
Yeah, I did
And
notice
Corona's
that.
on sale, 50% off.
Golden opportunity.
Hey, where's
It's
our-
like
where's
good
our
Corona,
mystery- let's
bad
do our mystery
Corona.
drink. Let's do this.
Golden opportunity.
Let me go get him. He's
Hey,
And I should add that as a pharmacist in training, a lot of the drugs that are gone are drugs like ibuprofen, aspirin, basically from
That
this
mystery
class
drink.
called NSAIDs. Yeah, those are all sold out. And ironically, it was this European Health Agency, I forgot which one specifically, it was saying that those will actually make corona symptoms worse if you test positive. So, yeah.
do what now? I missed that. What?
So drugs like Tylenol, Motrin, not Tylenol. Tylenol's fine. Motrin and Advil. People who take those, if they feel like they have corona symptoms, will tend to make it worse if they do.
really.
And the
What?
thing.
Where did you hear this?
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to give me the link to that. Scotch? I don't know. You know, for those of you on TikTok, if you'd like to see the full show, go to that link I just put in there, theradiomancave.com. We got Ryan Lee of Rifles and Reason online. We got the rest of the guys here, and you'll be able to see all the cameras. We can kind of do a little sweep there. There's our producer right there. There's Leland. Then Mike went to go get the mystery drink. What we do here every week, we're going to get off this stuff. I vented, and I feel better. So every week we have a mystery drink. Mike goes out and buys some alcohol, and no, I'm not going to try it. And we all drink it, and then we guess what it is. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to move on from the stuff I've.
Why'd you give me so much?
It looks like a craft brew. It looks unfiltered.
No, this ain't a craft brew, dude.
No, this is some weird shit. You don't have to empty the entire can, Mike.
You know what I think this is? Can I make a guess on what this is? No. Can I? No. I'm pretty sure it's Natter Days.
Natter Days? Is that what
Natter
is that a
Days.
malt liquor?
It is a natty light. It's like mango strawberry or some shit like that.
It's lemonade.
Lemonade.
Yeah, it's not.
Natty Light?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what your guess
It's
is?
natural light, but they call them Natter Days.
All right, Ken.
Was that?
No.
That was right.
All right, let's start drinking, bitch.
Dude, give me yours. I'm not drinking that whole thing.
It's not bad.
What the fuck?
It's real sweet.
It's very, very.
You don't like this one
citrusy.
either? It's like drinking orange juice.
It kind of tastes like a screwdriver,
I
actually.
drink straight alcohol.
Well, so do I, but you know.
Just like
I mean, I'm a Scotch drinker. You know that.
This tastes like Sunny D.
it just tastes like Sunny D.
It does. It
I
tastes.
just don't like the alcoholic like aftertaste, like the malty kind of shit. Like I hate that. And it's too sweet. And,
This will
like,
leave your teeth crunchy.
yeah.
Oh, this has got juice. This has got actual juice in it.
Like I'll drink it like a Shiner with a lemon in
That's
it,
what it
or
looks
like a
like.
prickly pear Shiner. And all their like their
It's like
line
orange
of, like,
juice.
flavors.
Came out of a can though.
stuff.
It looks like orange juice.
The prickly pear shiners are amazing.
Yeah, dude. Or
they're
Ruby
good.
Red.
Let me guess, you gave him a mimosa.
Was it Zima?
They even no Zima's clear.
I don't want this anymore.
What's the alcohol content?
8%. 8% alcohol by volume.
Fantastic.
8%.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not drinking that.
You didn't even drink that much.
Yeah, man, I'm driving. I'll take a sip.
Refreshing.
I couldn't drink
I'll
a lot.
taste it, but I'm not.
I
gonna
couldn't.
drink.
I couldn't drink a lot of it
Yeah.
Not just a cup worth.
because I think this has a lot of sugar in it. So that
I mean, I would tip one of these probably in a margarita. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it would be good in a margarita.
that'd be good in margarita.
Yeah.
Or when it's super hot outside, those are pretty good.
Like after I mow the lawn and my white. We got the Coronas.
This is actually
We're all gonna die.
This would be good around the pool, actually.
Better watch out, old man.
I'm in the spectrum.
You guys ready to see what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah, I see what it is.
Can you give me the can, Alex? It's kind of there,
By
right?
me?
Yeah. So somebody can't peek at
Here,
it.
put it over here.
Oh, gross. It tastes like high school.
Ours says it tastes like high school. So here's the big review: 8% alcohol by volume.
Yes.
Here we go. Can you see it?
From a
Yeah, you're good.
beautiful brown bag.
Smirnoff, ice.
Smash.
What is that, orange peach?
No, it says screwdriver flavor.
Screwdriver flavor. That's the mystery drink.
That's
Oh shoot! I forgot to turn this around so you can read my shirt.
Probably delicious.
You guessed right. It was a screwdriver.
Smirnoff
Screws.
Ice Smash mystery drink.
You know what a screwdriver is? Just orange juice and vodka.
Yep.
Nice.
Shaken.
Nut stirred.
Premium malt beverage with natural flavors, certified, and caramel colors. They had to put certified in
Had to certify it.
there. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hold on. Serving size fluid ounce, 5 fluid ounces. Servings per container, 4.7. Alcohol by volume, 8%. And this has, per serving, 124 calories and 15.4 grams of carbs.
Oh, good for it.
So not keto friendly. For those who wanted. And
Damn.
Man, I can feel it. That's 8%, man. Well, I've been on that fasting diet for a year now. So any alcohol I put in my body, I was gonna have so much fun in Mexico.
it legit tastes.
You know
like
what? I'm gonna go
centipede.
ahead and speak it. I'm going to Mexico. I don't give a goddamn.
Are you gonna try to go?
I mean,
Okay, hold on.
the only thing that I've heard so far is that Mexico says it's closed its borders, but that came off the news. South by, my ticket's still good.
So
South by Southwest Airlines. 8%, and I'm.
okay, I have a solution.
Need to eat more bacon.
Okay,
I know I do.
just
I really do.
just hop the border.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's Mexico. Like seriously, can't be that hard.
I'm not gonna drive.
I mean, you could if there
I'm
was
not
a
gonna
wall being built across
drive
it.
down to Laredo, drive through the desert, and then drive all the way down to the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula.
So Canada closes its borders.
Unless you're American.
There's travel restriction bans for the United States.
Yep. Europe is dumb. Europe sucks.
The Daily Mail says that Mexico is considering closing its border to stop Americans bringing coronavirus into its country as U.S.
Oh,
case
hey.
count passes 2,000.
Yeah.
I had a question. I flipped out of the screen. We got some people in the chat. I do what's called intermittent fasting. So when I started, I had to get my body into ketosis. So low carbs.
Low crabs.
And I would eat between noon and 7 o'clock. And then from 7 o'clock to noon, I would drink nothing but water.
I do what's called intermittent slowing.
And one of the things about this diet is you have to give up all sugar, which I'm obviously not doing that tonight with this glass full of sugar, but that's the hardest thing to get off of. And then the fasting accelerates your, it resets your body so that when you start eating stuff that you like pasta and carbs, your body will be more efficient at digesting it, and your metabolism will be higher to burn that fat off. So I started at 410. I'm hanging right around 305, and I got to change up some stuff. And I know Alex sent me some stuff to look into. Maybe not doing the strict fasting, but working some carbs in there with some exercise.
It's called So I saw it's like when you get get to your goal weight with keto and stuff like that. Something that you can do to reintroduce yourself towards keeping your metabolism up, because eventually with keto you do kind of plateau.
Plateau out. Yeah.
What you can work on doing is it's called carb. What is it called? Shit. It's a form of fasting. It's a form of like but it's a carb cycling.
Carb cycle.
So you'll have like days where you go low carb, low sugar, and you just like have like a salad or with like some chicken or something like that. You don't want to like blow out and just have like nothing but fats and anything like that. But then you do that, and then the next day you do a little bit of like like your workout day or whatever in the morning, or whenever your eating schedule is. The first thing you do is you have those carbs, so that your body is tricked into raising its metabolism or inducing your metabolism or whatever, because you have like these two hormones, one that tells you that you're full, or that one that tells you that you're hungry, and one that's telling you that you're full. So you have to stimulate those glands that release those hormones, or your metabolism is gonna eat shit.
Yeah.
So, obviously, my girlfriend's a cook and an amazing baker, so this isn't like really entirely her fault too. Like I stress eat, like I eat Taco Bell and McDonald's and all that garbage. So if I cut back on that, I'd look a lot better. But for sure, it's just eating clean, eating healthy, and then like staying away from like processed foods. It's a mixture of everything.
Processed sugar.
Yeah.
And I've discovered stevia, which it took a minute to kind of.
Have you tried like agave nectar?
To be okay. Agave nectar is another one that I use.
I use agave nectar, or like if I have like a bulletproof coffee, I just use a teaspoon of butter.
Stevia is a little sharper.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use as much, but I mix it with cinnamon and I put that in my coffee.
Oh man,
it's pretty good.
Drink coffee black with a little bit of butter in it. I start my day every day.
No, I use a little bit of heavy whipping cream and some cinnamon and some stevia.
Of black coffee.
I'm good to go.
So, Davis, you might be on to something with your isolation. Apparently, CNN has reported constant sex kills the coronavirus.
What?
Hold on. Let me see that.
I am now the official mayor of Science Town. Bow down to me.
Constant sex kills.
That explains why Pornhub decided to unlock premium in Italy, because I did read an article. Apparently, masturbation also helps kill the coronavirus.
Oh, well, I'm never going to get it then. Neither
do I.
We're good.
It helps fortify the immune system, so everyone just whack off.
That or colon cancer.
No, I do remember on 101.
You mean prostate cancer?
Like a few years ago, they were talking about like if you have like like a respiratory, like if you're stuffy or you have like a cough, like like phlegm, like a yielding cough or something like that.
Yep.
If you have sex, what it does is that it sends these hormones that open up your sinus glands and open up your like airwaves and stuff like that, so that you can better.
So you hear that, ladies?
perform.
So you hear that, ladies? I have a cold is no longer a valid excuse because your husband or boyfriend is just trying to cure you.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, that's not what I was getting.
Sizzo, drinking pee? No, we're drinking Smirnoff. It looks like pee, though.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Screw it. We're drinking our own urine on this show. Show up late. Show started at 9. Where the hell have you been?
Drinking. He gets a couple gulps of 8% alcohol in him.
And he's like, I want to go and drink.
I wanna go.
My name is Patrick.
I'm going to eat an elk's heart.
I'm going to go get shitty
Drink my own
pizza.
piss.
Little Caesars, anyone?
Hey, Little Caesar's amazing.
Whoa. Little Caesars.
Oh, right. Rapolo's.
No,
Is amazing,
and
too.
Rapolo's is amazing too.
No, Rapolo's is garbage.
I think that you're wrong.
I think that you never ate it sober.
I think that you're wrong. I have ate it sober.
Yeah, and I still think you're wrong.
I've ate it sober enough, sir.
Well, we agree to disagree because
Yeah, okay, boomer. That is now the ultimate argument.
Yeah, it's an argument killer for anybody with white hair. Boomer. What the fuck, boomer? Not that goddamn old. Shit. You hear what I put up with, Ryan? The show has not changed since the last time you're on here, basically. Except now that we're live streaming on the YouTubes.
Hold on. I'm sorry. What was that, Monarchs? What was that?
Yes.
Monarchs, baby.
I don't trust.
Tell Mike that I don't want to be oppressed anymore. He should open up his true feelings.
The fact that you find new viruses confusing and angering tells me you're a boomer.
It's different. I don't like it.
I don't like it. I was still getting used to Ebola, then they come around with this whole coronavirus.
Here's a question: are you pro or against tail fins on your cars?
Tail fins. Speed fins.
Speed fins?
Makes it go faster.
Are you talking about spoilers?
No, it's a Cadillac. You know, like the
He's going way deep.
Oh, the antennas?
He pulled out.
Those
Yeah.
little, like...
He pulled out his big brain on us.
Nice.
He went way deep. Lee Tolbert said Rapolo's. Oh, what's Rapolo's? It's a pizza place downtown that feeds drunk people on 6th Street.
And
It's amazing.
awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
when I was
it's
down
great.
there as a police officer, it was the most garbage pizza ever.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're mistaking it because it's like one of the most successful pizza joints
Ever.
in downtown Austin. They have like several locations.
No, because it doesn't have to be good.
It does. It does have to be.
It does.
No, it
Everybody
doesn't,
goes for
because
Apollo's.
everybody's
Of
drunk.
All the places that people can go to downtown.
You've
there's like
obviously
5
never,
or 6.
Have you
pizza
ever
places.
have you ever had a Stoney's?
Stoney's Pizza from San Marcos?
No,
Yeah.
Stoney's Pizza. They have a truck at 6th and Red River. No, yeah, 6th and Red River, and they have a truck on Rainy Street.
No, because I always go to.
Okay, the
Rapolo.
next time we go downtown. Next time these assholes drag me out, and we go downtown because I'm feeling froggy one night.
All right.
We'll call you and we'll go drinking and
Yeah.
we'll go to Stoney's.
Home slice.
In fact,
S-
what
home
we'll
slice.
do-
Do you think it's better than Stoney's
Oh
or?
yeah, home slice is the shit.
Yes, it is.
Oh, home slice is good. Yeah,
Home
yeah.
slice is amazing.
Southside pies too, man.
Yeah, Southside.
Southside pies like
yeah.
give me a slice and they give you like half the pizza.
Yeah.
Here's a slice.
Yeah. Those places are good.
Yep.
But Repose, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think
Yeah,
you're wrong.
Rapolo's is awesome.
Yeah,
They're
you're
good.
right, Lee. When you're drunk, it don't matter.
Tell that to businesses that failed eventually on 6th Street. Because Rapolo's clearly did
Heavy
not.
metal, whatever.
Well, heavy metal. The guy got
Oh,
busted for.
was good.
Oh,
Oh, he got.
hey, whoa! Do not
Remember
talk.
that?
Do not talk mess about Peruvian pancake mix. Yeah,
What was the pizza Patty vomited over the side of his car? Was it Rapolo's?
Rapolo's. That was the pizza I left in the
I don't-
front yard when you two knuckleheads brought me
I
home
don't know
that
if
one
that was
night.
Rapolo's. What's the other pizza place that's over there that's not Rapolo's that Patrick always gets because it's closer?
Oh, I have no idea. Whatever that one is actually garbage.
Yeah. And Patrick's also a piece of shit, so he's not like a good source of judgment when it comes to vomiting up food. Because I've literally seen him eat like vomit chicken nuggets. So
Oh yeah, that was a dark time in his life. And Taco Bell.
and Taco Bell.
Well, the night that the night that they
No,
the
like
night that
he's
they
eating
took me
vomit Taco
downtown for the first time ever, and I don't know
Yeah.
how much we drank, but we drank a lot. That was before my diet.
Bell. He
That's
also
before we
I
became
like-
boomers.
I left
Yeah.
I left all the stuff on the front yard.
he got some rumple mints.
I don't know what the hell
You
we're
got a
drinking.
rumpy
All I
cup?
remember, the last thing
Yeah,
I
rumpy
the
cup.
last thing I consciously remember is him handing me a full big can of White Claw, and we shotgunned it.
Oh,
Downstairs at the ranch.
We were shotgunning claws.
He
and-
goes, "Here." And I'm like, "What are we doing with this?" And he goes,
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, well, I can't let that stand."
One of our good friends who should not be named, but he looks like a character from what's it face? I'm trying to think of the name of that show now.
Donnie.
Yeah, sure.
Let's say his name is Donnie.
Yeah.
Okay, Donnie.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Vomit nuggets.
Donnie. Yeah. And yeah, he definitely he looks like one of the guys from Workaholics. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
was
anybody
feeding
gives a
us.
shit about what he looks like. Story.
Anyway, so for some sort of reason, we decided it would be really cool to get your dad like belligerently drunk, and that took like 45 minutes.
No, it took longer. We were there longer than 45 minutes.
Oh, we were there longer than 45
I
minutes.
remember
Was
a
his-
lot.
Was
up
his
in-
shirt untucked by the end of the night?
I remember a
yeah,
lot up
nice.
until Till the very end there.
Until the White Claw shotgunning, the rumple mincing,
Yeah.
and the other weird shot, because we also drank a lot of tequila. I mean, you got to get the tequila in there.
Sizzo YT, who's probably a kid on TikTok, says, "Is it normal for your pee to be purple?"
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, totally normal. 100%. Don't even tell your mom or dad. You're fine.
I've taken a couple multivitamins that cause my pee to turn weird colors. That happens sometimes, but you know.
How many beets have you eaten?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
Old white shroot beet.
Did you know
ass.
bears eat beets?
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Bears.
Michael! Oh! Greatest show ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, purple pee, that happens.
Yep.
Purple.
Purple pea.
Drink some water, you'll be all right.
Yeah, take a salt tablet.
So Ryan's been on the phone the entire time listening to us rant and
What's up,
rave.
Brian?
Hey, just chilling and taking it in like old times.
There you go.
Sticking it in.
Man, I'm going to save your number. You're welcome to call anytime. We're still every Monday night, 9 to whenever we end up going.
Yeah.
We're probably going to end up here in a little bit.
Debatable.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna get you all
Wonderful.
worked up about the coronavirus again.
Yeah, I'm done.
Pretty
We
much.
gotta make sure that we
I've
get you a
shot my
Bears.
wad.
We gotta make sure we get you a Bears.
I've shot my wad. I've taught people how to use their toilet paper correctly.
Yeah, that was
That was pretty good.
That was good, wasn't
that's
it?
pretty good. That's
Yeah.
pretty up there.
Okay, so
You'll have to go back and watch the
My
show. You have to go back and watch the show.
we're gonna have to make some other instructionables though, because I feel that there were some.
Okay, so
stuff that
I
were
tell you what.
unclear.
Let's help our listeners out. When you're in lockdown,
Pro tip,
what are some of the things that we can do in lockdown? Now, of course, we got the obvious ones: video gaming.
spit in
right.
your neighbor's mouth.
Don't do that. That is not medically advisable.
We hear,
is actually the
we hear
absolute
on the air with
opposite of
Mike
what they
Allen.
wanna
Do
do.
not endorse any suggestions from Mad Mike at all about exchanging bodily fluids with someone non-consensually.
Yeah.
Oh
baby
no, that would
birding.
definitely
No
that'll be
baby
very
birding.
that'd be very consensual.
So we got gaming. So we're gonna have a lot of level ups,
What's
right?
wrong with you, dude?
So yeah, you give him 8% alcohol out of a glass and see where we're going here. So we got that right. Eating
All
and
right.
cooking, and from the signs of
There you go, Leland, what you got?
Anime, watch lots of anime.
that's a lot of anime. What else we got?
Building a ship in a bottle and puzzles.
Building a ship in a bottle, another good activity to do.
Leland's
Building a model
number two.
airplane.
Model airplane, yeah.
Model airplanes. I don't know, man. I would honestly just like
Yeah.
read.
Read books.
Erotic asphyxiation.
Rediscover reading books. Ryan, you got anything?
Drawing, writing, scribbling.
Drawing and writing, yeah.
Tuning up your
Oh,
car.
dude, yeah. Are you keeping like a daily log of like everything that's going on?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, like I have the time to. No, my
Be like
my
Ryan's
school
log.
my school got canceled for the next for the rest of the semester. Basically, not totally canceled. They moved all the classes online. So yes, I'm still technically attending school, but from the comfort of my bed.
Oh,
Basically.
nice.
That's
Dude,
right on.
That's badass. That's like every college kid's like dream right now.
You know,
That's like-
I think it was it the conversation we had earlier before the show, kind of a pre-rant. Leland brought up the fact that employees and students might not want to go back to school now that they know they can do it from the house.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
oh yeah, like the meme that says like now we're going to find out how many meetings could have been through emails.
For sure.
We didn't have to sit here and listen to Bob for 6 hours. We could have just been at the house chilling. You know, here's a funny story. When I was working for Applied Materials, this was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and these little cameras that we're using here, the first generation cameras, a lot of times I would travel. I would go to other places. So I'd have to go to my meetings via video. But it wasn't set up. It was set up through a hub, like through a server. It wasn't
Yeah.
as slick as it is now.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in a hotel room, and I'm going to meet with my manager, the president of the whatever. We're going to have our meeting, and I wasn't wearing any pants.
Yeah.
Just had my polo on. I had the camera up. Had my thing. It's like, yep.
Yep. Good to go.
And at one point, my boss goes, do you have something? And I'm like, oh no, it's over in my briefcase. He said, can you go get it? So I had to slide out to the side. I didn't want to stand up and
You should have just let it all out.
throw twigs and balls in the.
You would not believe how many news anchors don't wear any pants when they're at the anchor desk.
I would never wear pants. As a matter of fact, I got shorts on right now.
Oh man, I didn't wear my shorts today.
But I wore this T-shirt. I don't know if you guys can read it.
There you go.
The hardest part of about the zombie apocalypse will be
Your mic's
pretending
on the
I'm
phone.
not excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dean's to Beans is joining us on TikTok. If you want to see the whole show, for those of you on TikTok, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the comments, and you can hear everybody else on our YouTube channel, Fort Kickass TV. I think we're about done.
Yeah.
All right, around the room, Leland, what did you learn today?
I learned that people need to stop being fear-mongered by the media.
Mike?
This fear mongering is the bitchinest shit ever. It's amazing. I'm glad it's happening. You guys are all butt mad about it. I love it. The fact that everybody's so frustrated about it, especially you two, makes me so happy. Like I'm this is amazing. I'm glad.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad, but I'm losing money.
I think that's what you're most like salty about.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
most salty about, and it's so unnecessary.
I feel like you're kind of like projecting
Yeah.
that struggle through like your views and I'm
Yeah,
like,
probably. Well, you know my views. My views are everything's full of shit.
I mean, I agree with you. The media is definitely like clickbaiting the shit out of this.
Yeah,
oh my
Like,
God, yes.
They should be held accountable for that.
The mass spread of butthurt is so good.
Yeah, every time I see an article that says like, "Oh, it's Trump's fault," like I'm like,
The last time we've seen this much
I just
butthurt-
want to know like what's going on. I don't need to hear your bullshit about why
Yeah.
you think that. Because I mean, regardless of who's running regardless of who's running the federal government, it's gonna be shit fucked anyway. So like,
Oh, yeah.
it's not gonna be like, it's
Pretty
not
much.
like anybody with an R or D is gonna be like a
Better or
savior
worse than
anything
anybody
like
else.
that.
All right.
Don't give them that power.
Player to be named later. What did you learn?
Man, I don't know. I learned.
Not to spit in people's mouths.
I learned. I don't know. I didn't really learn anything.
Didn't learn a thing.
I didn't really.
You just want to piggyback on mine and making them feel all butthurt.
I mean, yeah, I learned that like the what's called the threshold that it takes to get you guys all ass
Worked
mad
up.
and worked up. About
Yeah,
it.
threshold, total economic collapse, and not being able to buy groceries. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Your booty
yeah.
botheredness is equivalent to dysentery.
But it's like, okay, here's what I learned. I learned that I feel like you guys are dismissive and dismissively optimistic, right? You're like, oh no, it's no problem. Because the last like 4 weeks now, it's like every week it gets worse and worse and worse, and every week you get
Watching a
further
career path that I
and
chose
further.
last year suddenly go up in smoke in about 2 weeks.
Hey man, you know what? Now you got something in common with all those liberal kids that went and got those useless degrees. So
World meter.
now it looks like you and Davis got more in common with each other. It's gonna be okay.
worldmeters.info/coronavirus/hashtag countries.
I agree. It's
Total
gonna be okay.
cases worldwide.
Right. Okay.
182,598.
And how fast did it spread once it broke out of Wuhan?
There's 7.5 billion people.
That's how
Wide.
numbers works, guys. Next week, I
One
said this 2 weeks
fifth.
ago.
1/5 of the population of Austin, Texas, and we're going to
Yeah.
close down an entire country's economy out of fear.
It's our world's economy.
This is how numbers work. They work in increments. 2 weeks ago, when you guys were quoting off statistics,
So
like
can
it's
we
not that
wait
big
till
of
at
an
least
issue.
hits 1 million before we tank our economy?
And then they're going to
and
be all
cost me
pissy.
money?
I mean, that's not.
Yeah.
Can we
that's
at
the
least
thing.
get it
This
to
is-
bird flu? I mean, this isn't even. This
They're
isn't
trying
even.
to prevent those things
this
from happening.
This
We've
is
learned
less
from the
than
mistakes of
car
the past.
accidents a day.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. I forgot to go and get my car accident vaccine. I forgot about that. I'm fucked.
7,171 deaths.
Okay, hold on. One word.
That's worldwide.
Hey, ready? Math.
No, I'm just saying. From
This does not. Oh, okay, look.
because it starts. I mean, it has
No,
to start
no, no.
with
I see
one,
what you're
and
saying,
then
but
it gets
listen to what I'm
eventually
saying.
5,000.
7,171 deaths
Yeah.
is not should not be. It should not even come close to tanking our economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, put that in perspective. 1,500 people died on the Titanic. Did the economy crash?
They forgot to get their iceberg vaccine.
Yeah, did they get their
That's so
iceberg
funny.
vaccines? Yeah.
And with the vaccines, 5 times that many people died from the flu.
How do you know
with
those people had
vaccines.
How do you know that people had vaccines? You got that number in front of you? You just said you haven't had a vaccine shot since like
No,
1992.
you said there's no vaccine. There's a vaccine for flu.
The flu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's people that die because, because they're older and they can't take it. They get
That
pneumonia
wasn't
and
part of the
stuff like that.
equation. It's available.
Is it
And
there?
more people
Okay, but
died with an
there's not
available
a
vaccine than without a vaccine worldwide. And that was just a number from the United States.
Right.
Worldwide, it's in the 200 million.
Right.
Yeah, but the flu's here every
And
year.
the flu
Wuhan-
has a
the flu's brand
vaccine.
new.
This doesn't
They
have a
have-
vaccine,
they have campaigns.
but it hasn't even hit 1/5 the population of the city
So
we
it has
live
to. It
in.
has to wait till it gets to millions. Like
Yeah, before you
it has
take
to be
yes,
a Spanish
yes,
flu level. Before
absolutely.
You take it seriously.
Before you tank an entire economy, yes.
They're not tanking the economy. The stock market. Every people are selling the stock market's up, but like right
Then
now,
why did the Fed
if
pump
it-
trillions of dollars
because
into
they're
it to keep it afloat?
dumbasses. Because they're literally just like
How come the banks called their markers due and
Right.
put me in the negative? How come
Because
I
they're
can't?
assholes.
How come because of fear,
Yeah.
people that work in the service industry now are without
Right.
any income?
So if you guys are saying that
For
it's not
7,171 deaths
Right.
worldwide.
Yeah, okay.
That
I'm not
the
saying
entire
I'm not saying I don't care about the 7,100 people that died.
That the
I'm
entire-
saying if it comes to me surviving
Yeah.
and not going under, being bankrupt and losing everything, fuck those guys. Man, it took all the way to 1037.
No, I said it.
The
like
fact that
nine.
yeah,
did
the
you?
fact it's got to
Oh,
take
we missed it.
the entire economy and bankrupt every airline.
And I don't want people to
Nobody gives a
die
shit
from
about your
this.
airline.
Yeah, no.
But
just
let's not make it worse
Pro
by
tip.
fear mongering.
And
That's
also,
my point.
We
Right.
replace it from now on. Airplanes, you're out. Zeppelins making a
Zeppelins back
comeback.
in.
Zeppelins are coming back in,
yes.
and we're going to fill those bad boys with hydrogen because we live on the edge.
And when the
Non-flammable-
Hindenburg blew up, did it tank the economy? No.
Smoking section in
Actually,
the front,
it-
light them up.
No, when the Hindenburg,
Listen, okay.
yeah, no, when the Hindenburg did catch on fire, yes, it pretty much crippled the Zeppelin economy.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that was pretty
Zeppelin
much. That was
stocks
like the,
were
well,
down. Blimp stocks,
Zeppelins are out. Blimps are in.
Yeah, blimps, helium, helium,
right.
helium.
No, actually, it's helium.
Yes.
Helium.
And then we invaded Poland.
We didn't invade
You didn't
Poland.
invade Poland. You didn't invade
Germany
Poland.
did.
All right. No, but
What I'm
so
saying
you're
is,
expecting
it's
fear
this.
mongering aside.
This is way out of proportion for the danger that it potentially.
Okay, but what if
So
it
don't
gets
you
bigger?
think that you should that they would want to learn from their past mistakes and not taking things seriously, like like these pandemics, and they want to nip this in the butt quick before you have millions of people, dead. Like I mean,
That's
this
a
is
great
probably
line
like
of thought.
SARS or whatever, but like,
As
But when-
they're really just asking people to stay home.
A-
for like
as-
a
I
month,
mean, that's a great
and then
line of
it'll
thought.
all, like
That's a
pan
great.
out. And I don't
that's
think a month of not working is going to.
It's not a
the
death
economy.
sentence. It's not a death sentence.
as Mike's
People that got sick with it are not dying
As-
en masse.
as
They're
Mike's
just getting sick.
as
Other
Mike
than the one that
Other than the ones that are people, other than the people who are clearly dying, there's nobody dying.
there's nobody. Dying.
as Mike said, more people are probably going to commit suicide than because they're put out of work and they're in debt
So
hell.
we're going to halt the entire economy for 7,000 people worldwide
Yes.
on something that's not a deadly virus that will not kill a vast majority of us who will recover and probably not even report that we got it because we'll be over it within a couple of days. It's
Or-
basically a bad fucking cold. That's from the CDC. That's not from Mike Allen's opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
I mean,
not AIDS. It ain't killing people off.
AIDS doesn't kill you.
AIDS isn't.
Okay.
It doesn't kill you
here's the
now.
thing.
It doesn't kill you if your
no.
name's Magic Johnson.
No, because AIDS doesn't kill you. It just ruins your
The flu kills you.
Yeah, you get the
a
flu.
cold.
You get AIDS, and then you get the flu.
You have
Or
a
get the
better
cold.
chance of dying from the flu than this at sinking our
especially
economy.
if you have AIDS.
I mean,
Actually, some of the research they've
It's
been
been
stating is that
we're gonna come back-
the
we're gonna come back
HIV
in a
drugs are supposedly actually really effective against this coronavirus too.
Now you know what. Now you know what he just did.
What did he do?
He squeaked out another 10 minutes of the show by getting me worked up.
Yeah.
That's why I
That's
love
what the
you.
producer
That's why I love
does.
you, boy. I raised you right.
But I'm serious. Like next week when we come back on the show and we talk about this,
Well,
the
I'll be.
numbers are gonna
Hopefully, I'll be in
significantly
Mexico.
There's going to
But
be
if I'm not, I'll
10,000
be here.
people dead at least.
Yeah,
And I tell you what, if I'm not,
Yes.
I tell you what, this is what we're gonna do next week. If I don't make it to Mexico, you're breaking that freaking got cooler out. We're filling that bad boy with Corona beer, and I just might pass out behind this mic because I'm getting freaking hosed. I'm talking tanked.
I'm getting tanked, bud.
And Corona beer. No other beer will come in here but Corona beer. You bring the limes, I'll pitch in with whatever money I have left.
I'm not a monster.
We'll get a case of Corona beers,
I'm going to go buy
a
a
little bit of
whole
salt.
How many people in Canada do you think are going to get corona with lime?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
pretty much all of them. Because they're Canadians and they have a better sense of humor than we do. Apparently.
Nah,
I mean, look who they elected president. Holy cow, that was a loud one.
Yep, and
Yeah.
and look at that. Patient zero.
yeah.
So we're all going to get corona next Monday if I don't make it to Mexico. If I make it to Mexico, I'm going to send back film
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
of me catching corona.
I understand why everybody's
And 80,000 people
with-
recovered.
Yes, I understand why everybody's frustrated with.
Or they're
the,
still dying.
what's it called.
No,
Fun
recovered.
fact, you die really slowly.
Well, you know
Hey,
what the
Mike, did
leading,
you ever get
do you know what the leading cause of death is?
Car accidents apparently to you.
Birth.
Birth. The leading
Birth?
cause of death is birth.
Yeah.
Birth.
Sometimes. Obviously, you've never played Oregon Trail.
It's 100. Birth is 100% fatal. Think about it. Think about it.
I could think of
life?
Shower thoughts.
No.
Life
He's
in
not
general.
thinking deep enough. Think about it.
Oh no, I'm thinking extra deep.
Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So birth is the leading cause of
That's
death.
why you got to kill them before they're born.
Oh man. Why'd you do
Oh,
that?
gee.
Yeah,
I
he's
can't
just,
say that.
That's dark.
Don't do that.
now he's just saying shit to say shit. All right,
No, I'm
we're
serious.
done here.
Yeah.
I was about to
We're
say,
done
Mike,
here.
did you ever
All right. Hopefully,
Nah,
I'll
no.
be in Mexico next week sending back video. If not, Chuck Licata will be in here in the man cave to guide us through. If I'm here, we're getting corona'd down. I'm talking about we are going to get some corona and we're going to have at it. So thanks for joining us on TikTok. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube channel. We're here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll see you next week for the player to be named later, Mad Mike, and this guy. The Sky Marshal himself, Leland Freeman. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Radio Man Cave, and you have been on the air.
Great job, team. Head back to base for debriefing and cocktails.